Hello, we got a beer review. I should do a candle review. Yes, we have a beer review today, folks. It's Wednesday, I think. I've been on this lockdown like most of the rest of you for a while. And yeah, I like candles. All right, so today's beer is going to be another Founders Unraveled IPA. As soon as these candles get up to speed. I got it at Modern Market tonight, earlier. And it was about $11 for a 6-pack. And Founders is brewed in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And had been brewing since the 1990s. They've got a lot of beers out there. It's kind of hit and miss. Some of them I think are all right. Some of them aren't all right, in my opinion. I've never had this one before, so kind of bored. Thought I'd do a beer review. Imagine if you're watching this, you're bored too. So let's talk about this beer. They say it's an IPA. I looked it up on the internet and read about it, and it's 6.6% alcohol by volume. That puts it up there about what an IPA should be. The international bitterness units, IBUs, are 50, so that's kind of on the low side for an IPA. I think an IPA usually they're up there 70 and up. But we'll see, it's kind of a balancing act. They're grain. They say they use barley, but they also claim to have put oats in it. And oats and barley. So that'll be different. Probably not much oat. You can't put a lot of oats in beer, but some. The hops they use are Simcoe, Amarillo. And they also took a hop extract. The bitterness part of a hops is the lupulins. I hope I'm saying that right. It's like the oil extract out of a hops cone, hops flower. And they say they dry hopped it and they used the extract of those as well. So, let's see. I'll show you the beer can. All right. Here's the can, folks. Oops. Yeah, I could just turn the light on, couldn't I? All right. Green and yellow. My favorite two colors, actually, together. I think it has to do with springtime dandelions and grass. Just a welcome sight in New York State after a long winter. All right, there's a can. Now, I guess we're going to have to open one of these bad boys up, aren't we? I'm going to have to. You'd have to go get your own. You get to watch me, if that's what you like. All right, let's see what we got here. Now, this beer is probably about 40 degrees. I put it in the freezer for a bit, for about a half hour when I got it from the store. Pretty clear, really. Amber, straw colored, whatever. I don't really need to describe to you what it looks like. You can see it. A little hazy. The head's pretty fine on it. Very tiny bubbles. Let's see what it... Yeah, what's it smell like? Smells like piney. Kind of smells like IPA. I don't know. Yeah, you can smell the malt, but it's got kind of a citrusy pine smell to it, like you'd expect from an IPA that's got Simcoe and Amarillo hops in it and dry hopped. Well, now, let's see what this tastes like. Yeah, at any rate. Yeah. Right. Here's to you. Ooh. That's bitter enough, that's for sure. It got a kind of a sour, dank, I wouldn't call it dry, definitely not dry. You might like this, honestly, it's not bad. If you like IPA, I believe you'll like this. I'll put it in those terms. It's not over the top bitter. It's definitely got some bitterness to it. Hops bitterness. I don't know, how do you describe it? You know what hoppy beer tastes like. It's really, unless you really, really like a very hoppy beer, it's usually a balancing act between the ingredients, the alcohol, and the type of water, the profile of the water, and what's in it. Minerals, the mineral profile of the water, you balance it. Sulfates in water carry the bitterness. A lack of sulfates does the opposite, and you have to throw more hops in. So it's good to know the mineral content of the water you're using. As a rule, water that comes from the surface is softer water, be it lake water or pond water. Water that underground obviously has got a higher mineral, it's usually harder with the lime, usually. What about this beer? I don't think it's too bad a beer, honestly. I mean, right now I give it a thumbs up. I wouldn't say it's my favorite IPA. That still belongs to Rosin IPA. I don't even know they're brewing that anymore. I have to look into that. Still my favorite beer is Rosin. R-E-S-I-N. Rosin beer. It's an expensive beer, but it is, for me, the best tasting IPA that I can think of. This one isn't bad. This is acceptable. It's got kind of a sour, dank, I don't know what you'd call it, mouthfeel to it. Not overpowering. Not bad. If you like IPA, I guess, and you want to try something different, I would have to say give this a shot. Probably won't be disappointed. What was the beer I did? The last beer review I did. That beer was awful. Good Lord. That beer not only got a thumbs down for me, it made me sick, honestly. And that doesn't happen often. I got real sick off that beer. It was bad. Not bad. Yeah, here's the box. That's what it came in. And I sprayed this thing down with Lysol, right? Because of the times, and the cans. I dunk them in soapy dishwater. And then I rinse them off, obviously. So I sterilize everything. And this I sprayed with Lysol. And a little tip, because everybody's trying to buy all these sanitizers and stuff. Let me get something, show you something. Right there. Now this is a beer review, but I'm also going to do a Lysol review. Now, that's beer. I'm sorry, I'm digressing, but I wanted to share this. $3 for this big bottle of Lysol. No, it has nothing to do with the beer. Well, it did. I sanitized things with it. Now, this bottle says it kills 99.9% all bacteria and viruses. And it also says it'll make 26 gallons of diluted cleaner. And it will, those 26 gallons are just as effective at killing bacteria and virus. So instead of, buying this aerosol cans, get yourself a decent spray bottle. I got this Zep at Farm and Tractor. It's a really good spray bottle. It'll shoot up to 30 feet. I also use it in the summer. A little bit of Dawn dish soap and some water, and blast bees with it and bugs. Right now, I'm just using that just to spray things, and spray the shoes if I go out grocery shopping. We're in the same predicament. I live in upstate New York. Yeah, the bug is spreading up here to rural areas like where I live. So it's just the way it is, folks. It's what it is, huh? I hope you all are doing good where you're at, and try not to let this get you down. Really, it's it's no worse than the flu, other than it's very contagious, but so is the flu. But there's no vaccine for it. I'm sorry I went off talking about this virus thing. But I don't know, this is kind of therapeutic for me to make these videos and get some of the comments bounce back with. I don't think it's much worse than the flu when I look it up, but the problem is it just overwhelms our hospital systems. That's the thing. And I've had the flu before in years past. A couple times I thought the flu was going to drop me, I'll tell you. Usually the flu's nothing, sick for a few days and you get over it, Sometimes it's not. But yeah, we can all do without this, huh? Well, let me get back to the beer. All right, it sat there and it still has a little bit of lace on it. Kind of the body on this isn't very heavy for an IPA. It's kind of light-bodied. I'd say it's a very drinkable IPA. And there are some IPAs that aren't, as far as I'm concerned, they're not drinkable. They're just terrible, really. So not all IPAs are the same. Just about anybody. There's so many breweries out there. Yeah, here's a little bit of a ghost story. All right, I think it might be a ghost story. I don't know. But speaking of breweries in upstate New York, back in the 90s, I was driving back roads between south of Rome. It's in the leather stocking region, so to speak. Out in the middle of nowhere. It was on 5 and 20 in the middle of summer. And there was this really older than me looking man. Guy looked like he was at least 80. Tall, thin guy, dressed in kind of shabby clothes. And he was walking on the side of the road, and I pulled over, and he was out in the middle of, there was no houses around for miles. I picked this old guy up, and he said he was headed up the road. And he told me back in the before the Prohibition, I guess it would be the 1920s and early 30s. He said there were so many great breweries, and upstate New York was full of breweries from all the Polish and German people that had emigrated into the area. And he said then the Prohibition came through and they all shut down, and he thought it was what a waste, And he was telling me about all these old breweries that used to be in New York State that are gone. Well, they're coming back now, and I'd rather doubt he's around. He'd probably be about 110. So they're talking, and he's pretty much was on the topic of telling me about the olden days and all the breweries that used to be in upstate New York a long time ago, and made real good beer, he said. And then he said, all right, this is where I get out. And I pulled over, and I let him out, and we're still in the middle of nowhere. And he went into an old house, that said it was his home, and it was nothing. It was derelict. It was back in the woods. There was no driveway. The front yard was just really tall weeds. It doesn't look like anybody lived in that house for quite a few years. So I started wondering when I drove off, like, wow, wonder. But yeah, I didn't. I watched him go, and I didn't. Yeah. Anyway, that's my dryer. I don't know why. Just trying to warn me. Hey, your clothes are almost dry. Yeah, whatever. Just keep spinning. So there it is. Today's rant and beer review. I wish you all well. Until next time. Oh, I got my son. He's starting his own YouTube channel. I want to bring that up. If he ever does it. He's real good at fishing, and he lives up by Thousand Islands in upstate New York. And he's very talented at fishing. And he just doesn't go out to just catch fish to eat. He does that too, but he's out there with lures. He's trying to catch the trophy bass. And I think he's going to start a YouTube channel where he goes out and fishes and talks. Oh, if he does this, I'm going to point you to his channel. Just, all right, yeah, we're talking about that. Right. Oh, ouch. I'll let that one go. Y'all take care. Thanks for tuning in.